definitely make sure that you thought about everything and that like you make sure that you got the money that you want and stuff like that.
Okay. Did you want to add to that?
I really agree with that. Like, just it doesn't really matter where anybody else is at with the process. You kind of just have to focus on what you're doing yourself, and like don't get too stressed about it because you will get it done and it will get sorted out.
We're gonna go down this way.
Yeah, that's fine.
I didn't have anything to add. You can just say that.
Yeah. From personal experience, I would definitely say to maybe just get it done as soon as you can. Like maybe give up like one weekend just to have 2 days to just go right through it. I wouldn't necessarily even say rush it, like just because it's the weekend, but just give yourself that much time, because you could end up like me having to wait 5 months just for a response.
Alright, so just hey guys, bringing up the rear. I got my surprise now.
We'll get an introduction from you in a minute. Okay. Right here.
Joe, sit next to Maddie. I need to sit next to Maddie right now. Who? Sit right there. I swear to God. I'll sit right there.
Oh, okay.
Come on in, guys. I'll get some chairs. Okay, well, thank you and welcome to the new members. Those of you that just walked in from the class of 2019, would you just say who you are and what school, institution, or military you attend?
I'll start. My name is Patrick Sullivan. I go to Binghamton University.
Okay.
My name is Paul Perugini. I go to University at Albany.
Nick Mangiabelli, SUNY Environmental Science and Forestry.
Thomas Gans, Marist College. My name is Nick Gans, I go to Marist.
In back?
I'm Juliana Burgess, go to St. John's University.
I'm Adrian, I go to Portland.
I'm Girja Toomey, I go to New Paltz.
I'm Nicole Lucas, I go to Louisiana State.
Thank you. Okay, the first question we had asked that we were going down the line is, Joe, did you introduce yourself?
No.
Oh. So you sit there, okay.
Joe Southern, and I go to St. Joseph's College.
Okay. Any tips that you would share with seniors who are currently going through the application process? Anything you learned from doing it yourselves? That is the question right now. Okay.
I would say don't think of college as like an end destination. Like don't work at it and say, oh yeah, I'm doing all this so that I can go to college, because then you get to college and you're like, well, what am I doing now? I like think of it more as something that you want to get to, but you want to get to in a way that you're just continuing your kind of learning process. Like don't forget everything you learned senior year, like over the summer. Like think of it as an extension of your high school experience, but a different extension.
Okay. Anybody else?
Make sure you know what you want in a school. It's not all about the academics or the name of the school. You have to know, like, if you really like a certain club, even if they don't have it, a lot of times you can make it, but make sure you look at their student interaction, the class sizes, if professors are always teaching classes, or if there's sometimes professors, assistants teaching classes sometimes, that can have an effect on you. Just make sure you do a lot of research into how the school works.
Okay, those are great tips, and that I'm going to guess that came into play because you mentioned you're transferring, correct? Yeah. Okay, so know where you're going, and it's a journey, right? Not a destination. Anybody else have any tips that you want to share? Yes.
Look at the weather. I'm in Albany, and it's very cold, and it's snowing, and it snowed like 3 weeks ago, Paul? What was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
4 weeks ago it snowed already. So make sure you check the weather and enjoy it.
Okay. Okay. So here's a follow-up to question 1. Was there anybody, whether in school or out of school, that make the process, the college application process, go a little bit more smoothly, or anyone that was really indispensable to you in the process? And we'll start on this side now. Miss Hamlin!
She stole my answer.
You can say it again,
Sing.
it's okay.
It's not fair.
It's okay. Anybody?
Miss Falco.
Miss Falco. Where's Miss Falco? Okay.
I would say Mr. Wallace was definitely very helpful because I took the college freshman seminar class, and that we went through everything that you need to know for the college process.
Okay.
Miss Marriott, I took, what was it? Some writing class that I didn't think was important. I didn't think I was going to learn anything, but we worked on our college applications in that class, and she's very helpful. So if you need to, go to her, because she's honestly one of the best teachers to go to. She will
Okay.
help you.
All right.
And I'm going to say two people, it was Miss Hanlon and Miss Schaefer, my English teacher, trying to help both of you guys.
Okay.
Definitely trust your English teachers.
Wonderful.
You should have
Okay.
good relationships.
Okay.
Talk to people.
At the time, I had Miss Townend as my counselor, as well as Miss Barry. She read my essay like 5,000 times.
Miss Allen, of course. I mean, your guidance counselor will help you and definitely use them, to the best of your ability.
Okay.
I asked my guidance counselor to serve as this for help, but I felt a lot of it. I should wait to think the last minute. I wrote my essay the day of. Don't take it.
He's not starting for better. Don't follow his footsteps.
Don't do it.
Oh, we have more alumni that just came in. Come on over, alum. Hi, how are you? Got some seats here, we got some seats there. Good morning. No pressure. You're walking in, and I'm gonna call you out. So we're talking about people that helped in the process, whether they're in school or out of school. Who made the process bearable for you? And we have some people in the back too. So anybody want to share? Who helped you?
Yeah, definitely Miss Gifford. I didn't even have her as an English teacher. I had her as an advisor for IB, and she sat with me during my lunch periods for weeks, writing my college essay with me, without her pausing who I am. So.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else in the back there?
I also had Miss Barry. She read over my essays, definitely helped me everything I wanted to.
Okay. Did you want to share? Miss Crisantello. Miss Crisantello? Okay. And I'm not sure. Did you have anybody?
For me, everyone kind of helped me out. Like my parents were really supportive, and like they helped me with all of my applications and what I needed to do. All of my teachers were really good too. Like everyone always offered to like go over applications, read my essays. My guidance counselor helped me a lot too. So, yeah.
All right. Anybody from over here?
Definitely my guidance counselor, Miss Hanlon, helped a lot with writing the essay.
Anyone else that I missed that wants to share? Yes.
I don't remember too much from the process, but I do remember that I had a family friend who just so happened to be a advisor for college essays. So she looked over my essay the night before I had to hand it in, and nice. Great time. But we went through for about maybe 3 or 4 hours, just right there. And I'm so thankful for her because I don't think I would have been able to get the thing in time if she wasn't there for me.
Okay. So it sounds like we all agree that you need people to help you in the process. Hi, Juliana. How are you? Good to see you. Is there anybody that helped you that you feel like really kind of made this process bearable?
I would say definitely the guidance department and my English teachers, because we would sit during ALC and just go over my college essays.
Okay. All right, great. So guys, reach out for help, okay? If you could go back to this time last year, what advice would you give to yourself? I'm going to start with this group, and then we'll go over. No pressure.
I guess make sure you have a good college essay, because I'm pretty sure mine wasn't that good, and like that held me back from getting into a few schools that I wanted to get into. So.
Okay. Anybody else?
I mean, I'd say that keep your options open, and it's not that big of a deal if you don't get into one of your reach schools, and everything happens for a reason, and wherever you end up going, it would be the best option for you.
Okay, and CJ, you want to say something?
Yeah, if you're gonna commute, make sure you have a fuel-efficient car. I'm driving my bus outside. That thing is terrible. It's really bad.
It's worse than my car.
And to a pass that, I was gonna go to Penn State, and then like summer, I was like, not really feeling it. So then I decided, hey, let's do something like a trade. So then I go to Suffolk's homepage to see if they had any like trade-related majors, and I found automotive sciences. Automotive sciences. I said, yeah, let's give it a shot. Now I am chilling, having a good time. Going to Suffolk, having a good time, working on cars.
Okay. Anybody else have any advice you would say to your former self? Yes.
Well, I'd probably tell myself, like, don't worry that much. Like, you're kind of going to go where you're meant to go, and it'll happen how it's supposed to happen, so just don't stress about it too much. It'll work out.
Yes.
Like, don't stress about, like, it's hard not to, but you're going to get into college, and also, like, don't think there's one way to do something. Like, anything can change. Like, I had a whole change of mind literally a few weeks before I chose the school where I was going. So, everything changed for me, and it's awesome. I don't care.
Yeah, same with me. Like, I was an athlete. I was looking at schools to go play softball at, and kind of changed, obviously. But, like, on what Adrian said, like, keep your options open, like, try new things. Like, I just kind of walked into the recruiting office one day and I just signed up. That's just kind of what happened, so, yeah.
Did I see a hand over here too? Yes.
I would say definitely go with your gut feeling when visiting schools, and like definitely take in other people's opinions and ideas, but if you don't feel good about it, don't go.
Okay. Yes.
Don't worry about if you're staying home or if you're going away, because it really doesn't matter in the end. It just matters if you're successful and you let yourself to be successful in that end, in your end of the journey, when you have to decide where you want to go in life. Like, I chose to go to a trade school, and yes, it's not an expensive or a big school where everybody's like, oh wow, you're doing great. Going to a trade school was probably the best thing that could have helped me in my future. So.
Okay. Yeah.
At this point right now, I would say have patience, because even if you apply for early action like I didn't find out until I think May. That was my one school. I was accepted to other schools, thankfully, so I had somewhere I was going to be going. But the one school I was trying to get to, New Paltz, they came back to me saying, sorry, you were on the early action, but we have to move you to the regular enrollment because of how many people are doing the early action. So I thought, okay, that's fine. And then 2 months later, I find out that I've been moved to the wait list. So confidence really dropped there. I was like, okay, we're getting a little tight here, especially since it's March. 2 months later, I broke my phone.
That's good.
And I'm about to walk out the door to go get it fixed. I check the mail and I see the acceptance letter. So that was a fun day, especially because I couldn't even call my mom to let her know.
That's funny.
Juliana.
Two things. Number one, you probably don't need to apply to 10 schools. Number two, the magical feeling that everyone tells you about when you visit your college and you're like, this is where I want to be, totally exists. It just takes some time to find it. So be patient.
Okay. Anybody else want to answer that? All right. Let's move on. Can anybody talk about any challenges or obstacles that you have encountered in your first year and how you have handled them? Okay.
I had a horrible roommate. Horrible roommate. And it happens, and like people tell you, like, I went random, which isn't the worst thing. I know plenty of people that went random and are now best friends with their roommate. We started off best friends and things just went totally south and she wound up moving out, but that's fine. But like, it happens and you can deal with it. We went through a lot of a process and she just like wasn't up to like figuring stuff out. But it's not the end of the world. For the times where things weren't okay, I spent a lot of times with my friends and at the library instead of just being stuck up in my room. So it kind of pushed me out a little bit to be able to make friends in other places because I wasn't just staying in my room all day. But like, it's not the end of the world, and living with someone is hard. A lot of people be like, oh, it's fine. Like, it's something to get used to. You have to be willing to compromise, and you have to have like mutual respect for each other in the room that you guys are sharing a room. But other than that, college has been pretty okay.
Anyone else? Yes.
My chemistry teacher had a stroke on the first day of school in class. It was my first ever college class.
Oh, no.
Yeah. He had to call public safety.
Oh, my
He's
God.
okay.
Matt, oh. Did you want to?
Well, like my lab was canceled for like the first like month of school, so we're like a month behind on lab.
Oh, no.
But like, it's okay. My bio teacher helped out. So.
Okay, so again, resources. Madison.
I would say, like, not comparing yourself to like the new people that you're suddenly like living with, because like everyone who comes to your college is going to be good at something different, whether they're good at biology, or they're good at singing, or they're really good at a sport. Like, you have to realize that like you're in your school for a reason, and that you belong there, and like it's not the place for you to compare to other people, because you inherently have different strengths and come from a different place where you learn different things, and you, yeah, it's like not equivalent to compare yourself to others.
Shannon.
So like in high school, I could wait till the last minute, get my essays done, still do well on them, and like it was like great. You definitely need to learn time management and like to make sure that you like space out when everything's due. Because the first week I waited to get all of my assignments done, and the second week I was drowning in work. And like it's definitely not like high school, because like you can get them all done. It's just gonna be a really long night. So I mean, unless you want to put yourself through that, but I definitely learn your time management. And if you don't learn before you go, definitely learn it like within the first couple of weeks, because you don't want to learn that like months in or like a semester in, and you don't want to learn it too late.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, just add on with that. The first few weeks are always the roughest, because you're really just adapting to a completely new life. Like 2 months ago, you were sitting at home, like having an entire house to yourself sometimes, and then either going back and forth between school. Whereas in college, like at least most people are going to be living at school, and not even just at school, but just even in a smaller space than they're used to. So it's not necessarily the easiest thing to get into. I would say that for me, I did feel it wasn't as bad of a transition for me, but I know that a lot of people at my school said that they were having a really hard time trying to get used to everything, especially with having to go between classes. So, and just keep that in mind, that even if you are having trouble getting used to everything, it's not going to be the worst thing happening.
Yes.
I think something that I had to learn was like balance. So there's obviously the reason you go to school is because you want to get good grades and do well in school. But there's a lot of other things to that. You also want to make time for friends or making new friends. You also have to go to meals, and it's also helps to get involved and go to like join clubs and sports and all of that. So now with living on your own, if you go away or even if you stay home, learning how to adjust to that type of lifestyle, and as well as meeting new people, which is another possible stressor for some people. And then grades are obviously definitely stressful sometimes. And then obviously being involved with everything else. So just trying to figure out time management, like John was saying, and getting used to life on campus is definitely challenging, but you will figure it out.
Yes.
Even, like, you know, everybody's been saying time management and everything. I work full-time and I go to school, so I'm never home. I have, like, no free time because I've stressed myself so thin. But, like, getting papers done, all my assignments, I feel like, even though I did stay home, like, I gave myself some more, like more time, like, whereas if I was, like, at a dorm, I feel like I wouldn't, like, do any of my work or anything. So, with working and going to school, I found I definitely need to cut back either my hours at work or take less classes and start going part-time. So sometimes you can't always go full-time student, which is a bummer because it takes longer, but it's definitely more helpful if you have a schedule.
Okay, anybody else want to add to that? Yes.
Make sure when you're deciding what you want to do,
Like I work, I go to trade school at night, and I'm doing an internship following a mobile groomer. And that's a huge stressor because, one, I have no idea where I'm going. Let me remind you, I drove all the way to Northport and got lost. So, just to find her. So, going to school, work, and doing this internship, just make sure you're able to handle it. Don't throw too much on yourself, and don't be so hard on yourself because that's what's going to take you down. It's going to be your worst enemy, being so hard on yourself. I'm really bad at it. I can't even talk, but just make sure that you're handling school, clubs, and work if you're going to be working. And when you go to college, I know some of my friends who haven't been working don't have any money and they regret not working in their first semester, and now they have to add that stressor of working into their second semester. So.
Don't waste your syllabus week in the beginning of school. I find that a lot of students, and I did this, and now I'm in a class where the professor has said to me he's never taught the class before and he stole another professor's notes. So if the professor seems very confused in the beginning and you don't like the class, even if like you don't like have like feeling that you should have any interest in the topic, definitely drop it because during syllabus week that's when you have you can drop without receiving any problems with admissions or stuff.
Okay, yes.
And kind of would add on to that as well, in terms of classes, I would definitely say when you're making your schedule at your orientation, play to your strengths. So if you know that you're more science and math orientated, even though you're not necessarily majoring in that, you want to pick those classes kind of say early on, but just kind of even them out with other classes you'll be taking, because there are certain general education classes you have to take along with your major. So for me, I know that I'm not necessarily the greatest in learning languages, so I'm taking German right now. And I'm going to be taking, it's only for 2 semesters, which is a full year, so I'm only taking German 1 now and German 2 next semester. And at least for my school, I'm also have to take a English requirement as a freshman. So trying to get that all done as soon as possible for me would just make the rest of my years of college feel way easier, especially because now it's going to be more, at least for me, more math and science oriented.
Okay. So before the bell rings, I just want to ask one last question. If there are any surprises, anything that really surprised you about freshman year, life after high school, anything totally unexpected?
How many old people are in my class?
Old people, okay.
Likewise, I follow that.
What's old? What would you say is old?
Like a lot of moms.
A lot of moms.
A lot of moms.
All right, counselors, did you hear that? Moms are old.
So it's like all these young people and this one guy.
I'm going to ask my...
One adult.
Cover your ears. Okay, so people who are much older than you. And anybody else? Yes.
If you're going away, you have a lot more free time than you think. There's a lot of times, like, I try and get all my work done, like, as soon as I can. And so, like, I'll do all my work, and then, like, I'll see my friends for dinner, or, like, and then in between that time, you're just, like, hanging out. Like, you might think that everything's really stressful, and there are days where you are working all day, and then just, like, taking that 10 minutes to go run to the dining hall and get something and come back. But there's a lot, you're gonna have time to join clubs and do things or go out, whatever you wanna do, even if you feel like it is really gonna be really stressful for you.
And we'll go down the line, go ahead.
The teachers are really flexible. They have posted office hours, but they will meet with you if those times don't work. So before class, if I need something, they'll stay, or after, they'll stay an hour later just to talk and help me out. It's really surprisingly helpful.
What I'm surprised kind of with is how much stuff you have in campus, or colleges in general, especially with clubs and all that, and try to utilize it while you're there. And a lot of stuff like in Albany, we have gym because it's part of our tuition. Like you could, if you wanted to go to gym, you couldn't afford it back home. Now you're paying for college, so there you go. You could just walk down from your dorm to it, and also watch out the food. Dining hall food is not fun. And if you're looking at Albany, Please take that into account.
It's
Paul, the hamburgers, you're not supposed to be like this.
You can get other food, you don't have to get the hamburger.
Anybody else,
That's all I
any
have.
surprises? Yes, oh, then Madison.
I would say there's really something for everybody. Like, my school alone has 350 clubs, and that is definitely, you could definitely find something that you would like or enjoy within that. And then there's sports, they have club, like intramural, and then if you're going for like T1 or whatever. And then they have programs like ROTC and everything, so it's so new, and you can just try anything, and if you don't like it, the worst is you just don't do it.
I think I'm most surprised at the amount of opportunities that you have. Like, one of my classes this semester was like able to go on a research trip to Italy, which is just like unheard of, like high school opportunities kind of. So you never know when you'll find something that like might interest you or like that will take you somewhere you never thought you'd be.
Anybody else? Anything surprising? Yeah. Oh, either one, go ahead.
I guess I'm surprised. I'm like, I guess how little like I'm doing schoolwork, because I do all my schoolwork, but I don't really care about it too much. Like in my free time, I've just been like doing things that I enjoy. So like the past few weeks, I've just been playing ping pong for like 8 hours a day.
Yeah, you guys have a ping pong table.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean,
Yeah, just, I think it's like I've mentioned, like you have so much time, you don't realize it. For me, with my schedule, I can be at my classes on Tuesdays and Fridays at the same time, and then be by myself in my dorm for maybe 5 or 6 hours.
Yes.
It's very individual, so like you have to go to class. Teachers aren't gonna like force you to go and do the work. If you don't do the work, they don't really care. Like you're paying to be there. Same thing with like I was away from home, so like you have to do your own laundry. You have to like clean up after yourself. Which I know a lot of people are just like mom and dad like cleaning the dishes or dishwashers and like not doing your own laundry. Definitely some like a wake up call.
So you guys are all gonna help with the dishes tomorrow, right? Okay, Joe.
Going back to how like helpful, you know, and interested and engaged your professors are, definitely take advantage of that. Like if you have like 3 finals coming up, like finals are coming up for us, if you have like 3 in the same day, talk to professors. Like they'll be willing to move them around and accommodate to your schedule.
Also, schools have policies where that won't happen.
Oh, okay.
So
Rate my professors table.
most schools, I'm not sure.
So be aware of the policies in your college campus and what's happening. Yes. Yeah.
I'm also surprised at like how bad some of the professors are. Like your main professors will be good, but like for your recitations and stuff, like they won't be like too great. Like for my physics recitation, like he's a really good researcher. He's like amazing at physics, but like I can't hear what he's saying because he has such like a thick Ukrainian accent, and like he just doesn't like go over half the problem. He just like gives up, and it's like I'm not learning anything here. Yeah, like he doesn't give us the answer. It's weird.
You want to add?
Yeah, going off of that, I mean, if you go and like rate my professor or anything like that, you like read the reviews and you know everything. I'll be honest with you, don't check that until like halfway through. Like I'm checking for like wait till
my professor got 1 star.
Because I'll say this: your professor may not be what everyone says, but I mean, because there's a professor that I have, and everyone like says he's like the worst. And me personally, like I have to say I enjoy the class. So like it's always your personal experience. So definitely, you don't go off of everybody else's opinion. Go there first without reading it. Make your own opinion and your own assumptions. Then go ahead and see what everyone else thinks.
Anyone in the back? Anything you're surprised about, Zoe?
There's also like, there's always going to be people who are going to try to scare you off of what you want to do. So if there's somebody who's like complaining and telling you all these bad things about this class, and then you're going to take it yourself and it's really not that bad. So don't listen to people who are just trying to scare you, because that's never helpful.
Good point.
And
Yeah.
to add on what Zoe was saying is that also you're gonna overthink so much in college.
Thank you, seniors, for coming. If you did not scan, please scan. Thank you again to the alumni. You guys did here in the first group is new people that came in. We're going to do an informal panel discussion. I'm going to call on you for your info. Seniors who are here, if anybody did not, just scan in to, I want to make sure that your attendance is all checked, okay? And are we about ready to begin? Okay. Any more chairs here for? No, we just are a little fast. Alum and Mrs. Morgino, Mr. Crowley.
I was planning on just going over and handing it over to the talk.
Okay. So first of all, I want to thank all of the class of 2019 for coming and joining us for our first Alumni Day. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Mr. G, do you want to say a few words on behalf of the administration?
Guys, thanks for coming back. It's awesome to see you here. I'm glad you are all successful and happy, well, somewhat happy. Some of you gained the freshman 15, I see, but that's okay.
Mr. G, really? Really?
Well,
Hello?
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
He gave the administrator 15. Joe.
I did.
Yeah.
Okay, you want me to use this too? I don't think I need it, okay. All right, so on behalf of your teachers and counselors and administrators, we welcome you back. We are so happy that you're here. Thank you. I'm gonna just start by asking you to please introduce yourselves and the school that you attend. So this is gonna go all the way around. Yeah,
I'm Emma Zani, and I go to University of Scranton, but I'm transferring to St. Joseph's on Long Island.
I'm Tiffany Calabretta. I go to Suffolk Community College in Selden.
I'm Emma Byrne, and I go to the University of New Haven in Connecticut.
My name's McKaylee Cassidy, and I go to Eastern Suffolk BOCES for dog grooming in Bellport.
My name is Justin Keene, and I go to Farmingdale State College.
My name's Maddie Esposito, and I go to Princeton University.
My name is Eddie Smith, and I go to University of Albany Upstate.
My name is Juliana Budris. I go to St. John's University.
My name is Paul Perugini. I also go to University at Albany.
My name is Patrick Sullivan. I go to Binghamton University.
I'm Adrian Casey, and I go to Cortland.
I'm Brianna Cerise, and I go to Geneseo.
I'm Frankie Lafamina. I go to SUNY Oneonta.
I'm Nicole Lucas, and I go to Louisiana State.
I'm Deirdre Toomey, and I go to SUNY New Paltz.
I'm Justin Gregory, and I go to St. Joseph's College.
I'm Shannon Horan, and I go to Quinnipiac University.
I'm Nick Gans, I go to Marist. I'm Thomas Gans, I go to Marist College.
Nick Mangiamelli, SUNY Environmental Science and Forestry.
Joe Souza, and I go to St. Joseph's College in Patchogue.
Okay, and do we get everybody?
I'm Juliana. I go to York College.
Okay, again, thank you, everybody. So I want you all to think back, excuse me.
My name's Taylor Lapardo, and I'm not going to school right now, but I'm hoping to go to Suffolk in the future.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. So first question, we're going to ask you to think back to last year when you were going through the college application process. And the seniors right now in the class of 2020 are doing that currently as we speak. What survival tips can you share looking back on that time from last year? Who wants to go first? All right, Shannon.
Definitely don't stress out about it because everything kind of takes its course and you go where you're supposed to go and like it eventually all works out. And definitely don't compare yourself to others because I know like in high school you all like to post where you're going and all that stuff, but just take your time and don't really compare yourself to others and don't stress out about it because it's really not that big of a deal. And it's only November. Like, it's not the end of the world if you don't know where you're going. I changed my mind 1,000 times throughout my senior year. So just take your time and definitely don't compare yourself to others.
Who's next?
Nick.
I would say just look at everything about every school. Don't just look at the grades because every school looks so similar when it comes to like those statistics of like their averages and like the students who go in. Look at like the school as a whole as like just look at how many people go, like what you like, don't just look at what you want to study, look at where you want to be, because you're going to be there for 4 years, and it's important to be comfortable where you are.
Definitely take location into a factor, because right now you're gonna think that you want to go away and you want to be like 1,000 miles away from your family, but after a month you're gonna want to come back, and if you're all the way in Louisiana, you can't really come back that easily.
Oh boy. All right, I'm gonna counter that. Get far away from your parents, like at least 4 or 5 hours. And go to the library a lot, because study.
Definitely choose a college that accommodates your interests, and have a few different options open, and also have your interest open to what you want to do. Don't just narrow it down, because then you're narrowing your colleges down as well. So definitely be open to different opportunities and where you might want to go.
Okay. Anybody else? Any survival tips?
I wouldn't worry about where you're going. Doesn't matter if all of your friends are going away and you're staying home, or if you're going away and all of your friends are staying home, because you're going to make a ton of new friends in college. I have plenty of friends who have made like 10 new friends in college, and I haven't really made any friends in my class because it's a lot of older people. So just don't worry about where everybody's going, because you're going to make new friends no matter what.
Okay. So as a follow-up to question 1, was there somebody in school or out of school that made the process more bearable? Anybody that really helped you out that you want to mention?
I would say Mr. Wallace with the college freshman seminar class, because I feel like we covered everything that I needed to know for the application process, and I think it was really beneficial.
Miss Falco helped me the most with all of my applications and stuff. All my teachers, like Mr. Jablonski, Miss Testa, they all helped me go through everything, and they were all just there for me, and they looked out for me. So
I would say Miss Hanlon. She was always there for me no matter what it was, whether it was college or anything else that happens when you're a teenager and you're upset or need someone just to talk to. So even if you're not that close or don't have a close relationship with your guidance counselor, you can always go there for help, and they'll always help you and do the best they can.
I would say Dr. Silva and Mrs. Sparrow have helped me a lot, because Miss Sparrow would help me choosing certain electives and everything, and I found that electives that I really enjoyed. And Dr. Silva, the psychologist, sorry, I don't know how to speak English apparently. She's helped me when there would be times where I would break down because I would be so overwhelmed with, you name it, social work, but whatever, she would help me and she would comfort me, and then I would know that's all okay.
Thank you, Taylor. Anybody else want to mention someone that really helped out a lot?
Definitely both Miss Morgino and Miss McCrelly, right here. Both of them, just as people, really helped me figure out where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do, and even kind of introduced me to stuff that I originally would be opposed to. I know they both said I'd make a good lawyer, so I'm kind of looking into law programs, and I actually really like it. So, thank you.
Okay, so here's another, maybe a hard question, but if you could go back in time to this time last year, what advice would you give to yourselves?
I would definitely say not to take things too seriously. I know people say oh, senior year, haha, have fun. But at the same time, you do have to do work. But it should definitely be a good balance of being a student and being a human, because that's what happens when you go to college, and then you're your life is kind of intertwined with academics. But definitely taking the time to have fun, to take a break, to realize the world will go around still if you get a bad grade.
it's just like life, and it shouldn't be taken that seriously.
Also, just be yourself. Colleges don't look for robots, so they look for humans. So just if you show off your qualities and what you are looking for in a school, because the schools will actually like value some of your strengths and implement that into your admissions. It's not just based on SAT and GPA, and it's mostly like a lot of social aspects, because that creates problems later if they don't solve it before you even come to school. So don't worry even if you get a denial, don't stress about it. It just wasn't a good fit. So just keep going and stuff like that.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Don't worry about don't be so harsh on yourself, especially because maybe there's 100 different applicants that don't have something that you have. So every person is so different and so special in their own way. I know that's very weird, but it's like almost ironic to say, but you're all very different and you all have very good qualities that you can share with these colleges, and don't be so harsh on yourself. Don't think, I'm not smart enough for that school, or I don't have enough money to go to this school. Apply for scholarships, study more, just do everything that you can to do what you want in life.
I know it's hard not to be so stuck on your number one school. I had a number one school from 8th grade up until senior year and got denied, and it hurt. But make sure you keep your options open and see the positives and negatives of every school. And even though it may hurt not getting in, or maybe realizing that you can't afford it, or it might not be the best fit after years or even just like months of liking a school, there's always something that's going to work out for you. And as my mom always says, that when you go to college, you make yourself happy there. It's not going to college isn't going to make you happy. You have to make your college experience good for yourself.
Anybody else have any messages you would give yourself a year later? Any advice?
Don't expect to think what you want to do right now or where you want to go is what you're going to want to do a year from now. A year ago today, I thought I was going to school down south. I thought I was playing soccer, and I thought I was going for teaching. Right now, I'm going to Cortland, upstate, and I'm diving, and I'm a science major right now. So anything can change at any moment, and nothing's permanent. You could always change, so you could always do what you want to do.
Do not stress yourself out, because I was freaking out when I was in a senior in high school right now, just because I wanted to know everything, and I wanted to know exactly what I was going to do and exactly where I was going to go. And honestly, that's not realistic. So do not stress yourself out, because it will play out how it's supposed to, and eventually everything, you're going to be content wherever you go, basically. And if it's not your first time around, it will be your second time around. Everything will work out the way that you want to, and you make the most of it, So you either stress yourself out, or you can let it be not relaxing, because everyone's on edge, waiting for letters to come in and stuff like that. But, you can make it as stressful or as peaceful as you want to. So definitely try to have a balance.
Okay. Next question. Is there something that you know now that you wish you knew then? See some maybe hands. Anything you know now that you wish you could have told yourself?
I would say getting involved in school is super important. I waited till my senior year to join any clubs or teams. I joined the kickline team my senior year, which no one really does. And I also joined Heart my last year. And so for college, a big part of it is meeting new people. And the only way you do that is if you put yourself out there. So joining clubs in college is something I wanted to start my freshman year and move forward throughout the entire experience, because I didn't do that in high school, and I think I would have been better off if I would have started in freshman year of high school. So I would definitely say going into college is get involved, and there's so much to do on campus. So if you just try something, and if you don't like it, there's always something else for you to do.
Yep, in the back there.
Definitely take yourself into consideration. So I picked Geneseo because academically it was the hardest school that I applied to and that I got into. But I'm someone that loves being in the city, so picking a school that doesn't have a city that is like very remote is obviously not the right choice for me. So don't just look at academics, definitely look at the type of person you are and the type of person you want to become when looking at schools.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I'm definitely close with my family, and I originally wanted to go. Like, I applied to Hawaii. I wanted to go far, far away, and
Farthest you can go.
I didn't actually leave Long Island. I'm in Queens, so geographically still on Long Island. But it's honestly one of the best decisions I've made. I can come home. I can spend time with my family. I got a little brother. I can still spend time with him. So definitely, while also think about yourself, think about like the other people in your life, and like think about the relationships that you have and the relationships that you want to keep. Like, definitely important.
The second the clubs thing, it's like one, and specifically mostly every college has it, is college radio. And if you're a big music fan, and it is the most accepting, I happen to be a DJ at WCDB Albany, just to throw that in there. Throw that in. What?
Tune in 11 o'clock.
Yeah, tune in at Monday, 11 to 12. Some metal, my metal mania, DJ Schmidt. Anyway, we got mostly every radio station, mostly every college has a radio station, and it's very accepting place. So, and it's very good to put on a resume. So, I feel it's highly recommended for anybody who's interested in music and stuff like that. So. Yes. You find out if you want to get into the music scene in the area that you want to go to school. You could get a big friend group of people that are interested in that genre and stuff like that. So you get instantly thrown into a friend group and into a underground basement scene. Don't endorse it. I don't endorse it at all, but it is there. It is there.
Okay.
Anyway.
Any other advice? Shannon?
Kind of going off of what Brianna said before about location, definitely like look around and see if there's people that you like want to become like, because every campus, has like a different feel to it. So if you look around and you're like, okay, like I want to become like this person because they look like a leader, definitely like look around to see about people. And I thought that the transition from high school to college was going to be a lot harder than it actually was. And I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it actually was, because I thought like schoolwork and academic wise I wasn't going to be able to handle it. And it really isn't necessarily harder. It's just more about time management and making sure that you like space your stuff out and give yourself time to obviously like hit the books and like study, but also give yourself time to like hang out with friends and do whatever you want to do and join clubs and stuff like that.
I just want to add something.
Sure. When you go to college, no one cares who you were in high school. You're all going there with no friends. It doesn't matter if you were class president or in VM or in anything. No one cares. I'm sorry. Like, it's great to be in high school, to be involved and like do what you love, but when you go to college, no one has friends. It's a new section of your life. No one cares. So like when you go there, don't expect it to like be like high school. Like, even though I wasn't like that popular or anything, like I expected to go into college and make friends really quick, because that's just how it was in high school. And you really have to put yourself out there and try new things and do new things so that you can meet those people that have the same interest as you, and you'll find those people. Just college is there for you to grow, not stay the same person you were when you were 16, 17, 18. So just keep that in mind.
Excellent point.
Going to trade school isn't a bad decision either, because there's so many different options. You can go to college, you can go to community college, or you can go to trade school. And I went to trade school, and they have so many options out there. They have automotive, they have grooming, they have animal science in general, they have photography, videography, they have everything that you can imagine. early childhood development, anything. And they're a great, great school to go to. They're so supportive because it's helping you reach your goals in life faster, because like going as a dog groomer, I'm getting the opportunities to work with so many different groomers, and eventually, if I wanted to, I could reach Westminster Dog Show, which is something I wouldn't want to do, but it's an opportunity. So take any opportunity if you want. Go to trade school, go anywhere you want, because trade school is honestly one of the best things I did.
Okay, thank you. What are some unexpected surprises about life after high school? Let's start over here. Oh, Juliana.
I think the independence factor. I mean, you get the opportunity to do so much, and you don't necessarily have to ask your parents or run anything by them. You can, if you want to go to a movie at 12 a.m., you can go to a movie at 12 a.m. So I think that that's one of the surprises.
Anybody want to expand on that?
There's a whole world of people out there that you do not know yet and that you may not know until later on in your college career. But it just, the amount of different types of people out there and the amount of friends that you can make outside of your high school connections is definitely a big one, because I wasn't expecting to make the amount of friends that I did from like the Northeast region or from Jersey. And it's just crazy to like meet people from all over the place and just make those strong connections, because you don't realize how similar you are to certain people until like you actually like sit down and talk to them.
A really big surprise for me is like living with someone. Like roommates are a big change. So definitely when you're looking to pick a roommate, pick someone that is like you, like similar to you, or has similar interests. And even if they don't, someone that has a similar work ethic is super important, because if you surround yourself with someone that skips class and sleeps in, typically you're going to start thinking that's an acceptable thing to do, and you're going to start doing it. So definitely make sure you're surrounding yourself with like people that are motivated and people that are like you, I guess.
To expand a little on the roommates, like my school assigns all freshmen random roommates. So you can say you have a preference for 2, 3, they're up to like 8-person suites and stuff, so you could pick in that range. But I ended up with 3 roommates. One's from Hawaii, one's from Florida, and one's from Dubai. So I think being able to kind of hear 3 really different perspectives on like what the world is like is very interesting. Like especially with like Dubai, I've never really like heard of Dubai, but like being able to learn about it from someone who's from there is like really interesting. And definitely like hearing differences in like education systems, like coming from high school into college as well. But like knowing that we're now all in the same boat, no matter where we came from, is definitely one of the surprises that I found.
Anyone else have any surprises?
I guess driving to school, like it's a 30-minute drive with traffic, and it's awful. Driving to Bellport is not fun at 5:30. 5:30, and then driving home at 9 o'clock at night. So.
Okay. So now I want to ask you about any challenges or obstacles that you might have faced. Anything that you want to share, any difficulties, and maybe how you've worked them out.
I think like I went away to college, and like my dream forever was to get off the island, and even like in the future, like I don't see myself living here. I know some people are like Long Island or die, and I'm just like not like that. So like I wanted to get away from it, and then I didn't think I was gonna miss like my family and being here as much as I did. And that's not like the reason I'm transferring home, but you think you're not gonna miss like your parents like nagging you all the time or like telling you to clean your room or anything like that. But like, not that you exactly miss them like bothering you all the time, but you do miss them and your family a lot. And it's so much different calling them on the phone than like having a conversation like face to face. Anyone else?
So, like, based on what Emma said, like, I don't think I've talked to my mom more, like, in person than I have over the phone in the past few months. Like, I talk to her more than I did when I lived with her. So, it's definitely, like, a big adjustment. But one of, like, the biggest challenges that I faced was accepting that it wasn't the right place for me. So, going into it, I was excited for 4 years in the same place, but accepting that it wasn't the place for me and that eventually I'll find a school that I like and that suits me was a big challenge.
She was talking a little bit how it's like an adjustment for you. It's also an adjustment for like your family. Like she said, she talked to her mom more. Like my mom calls me 5 times a day, every day. She's always wants to know what I'm up to because you don't live with her. Like I don't get to come home and tell her about my day and all that. So you have to like keep that in mind. Like I know that kind of bothered me at first, but now I look forward to her calling me at 7:30 in the morning. You know, I mean, so yeah.
My old kid is over there shaking her head at me now.
Anyone else?
When I went to school, I'm 4 hours away, so again, I couldn't like talk to my parents or anything, so I talked to my mom all the time and my sisters. But I mean, in the beginning, I was so miserable because I couldn't just get up and get in my car and go home. So I channeled all because I was so upset that I wasn't with my family, I channeled all that into my schoolwork. And now I work really hard in school, and I have good grades, and I didn't really work hard in high school because I didn't take it seriously at college until I actually got there and realized that I need motivation. I'm trying to get a degree. I'm trying to do great, and I want to go to medical school. So I channeled all of that into my education, and now I'm not as miserable, and I'm actually adjusting to my school.
Also, learn the bus systems if you're going away, or any like public transportation around you, so you can get around. Because you can rely on Uber a little bit, but it gets expensive. It's so expensive. I think I spent around, because I sometimes have to come home often, it's like about $100 worth of Uber just my first semester. Because there's a lot of times they have like surge prices, which makes basically double the Uber price. So try to learn before you get there. You can try to learn before you get there, but when you get there, definitely learn any transportation around, because a lot of times schools will have where you can like for Albany we get swipes for the buses, so try to look at all that stuff.
Anybody else?
Any words from Crowley?
Did any of you, if you want to share, was anybody last year debating on really giving serious thought to staying home or going away, and really kind of, some of you, it might have been very clear, I'm definitely going away or I'm definitely staying home. Was anybody really debating on that, and would you be willing to share what that was like, what that process was like? Anyone? Yes.
I was really in between because of the typical, like, I have my boyfriend here and my family here and my pets here. And I was like, how am I supposed to spend weeks or months at a time away from them? And my biggest thing with why I'm transferring is because my school is $63,000. That's a lot of money. You don't think it's a lot of money until you see your loans. I was going to be in $120,000 of loan debt. That's horrible. Don't do that to yourself. My parents tried to explain it to me. Really make sure you understand, because that's like the rest of your life outside of college. You have to like understand that, like, yeah, that maybe doesn't seem like a real number until you actually like it hits and you're like, that's a lot of money. Like, that's a down payment on a house. Like, that's a lot. So make sure you understand like all the money and all the aspects of where you're going to school, so that you can make sure that like that is where you want to spend your next 4 or 5, however many years you're going to go to college for. But yeah, make sure it's a good fit for you. I was so set on going away because I felt like that's what I needed to do. And then just like Brianna was talking about, like I had to come to terms with the fact that maybe not even that school, but just going away wasn't for me. And that's hard to come to terms with because you kind of feel like ashamed or like disappointed. But in the long run, you're getting a good education and you're going to be successful either way. So it doesn't really matter.
Kind of like what Emma said, going back and forth. I, for the longest time, wanted to go all the way across the country and not be home anymore because I was really sick of it on Long Island. And now I'm staying local at Suffolk. So, I mean, now I know, like, it's a lot better for me. I get to work and I get to see my family. And like Emma said, I get to see my boyfriend and everything. If I was in Oregon like I wanted to be, like I wouldn't have anything that I have now. Like I've been saving up all my money, like I get to do things. So it's a blessing in disguise, really. Like yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to share advice that my mom shared with me over the phone when I was very upset about transferring. And this is for anyone that goes to school and they decide that it's not the school for them and that they're going to transfer. Basically, my mom told me that when you graduate, your diploma is not going to say, was at this school for a semester, this school for a semester, this school for a semester. It doesn't matter how many schools you go to or how long it takes you to finish, as long as you do it. You're graduating from a great school. That's what it is. So don't stress about if you want to transfer or not because it's not going to show.